It was late that night. A regular evening, or so I thought. Tired, eager to crawl into bed, I only wanted to make it home. My building, old and run down, greeted me with its cold halls and the stale smell of dampness. I never take the elevator. Too old, too rusty. But that night, my legs felt heavy, and the thought of climbing 6 flights of stairs seemed impossible. So, against my better judgment, I pressed the button. The grinding sound of the ancient machinery sent a chill down my spine as the rusty doors groaned open. The inside was just as I expected, dim, grimy, with a flickering neon light overhead. I thought, just 6 floors. It'll be fine. I leaned against the wall, pressing the button for my floor, waiting for the old contraption to take me up. But instead of rising, the elevator began to descend. Slowly. Very slowly. The glowing numbers above the door kept going down, -1, -2. I frowned, but I wasn't worried yet. It was just some old mechanical glitch, right? I'd never heard of a basement in this building, let alone multiple levels underground. But the numbers kept going, -3, -4. It didn't make sense. The walls felt like they were closing in, the lights flickered more erratically, and the air got heavier, harder to breathe. I started jamming the stop button, hitting it again and again, but nothing happened. The elevator seemed to have a mind of its own. And then things got strange. Really strange. The walls of the elevator began to ripple, like the metal was melting, warping in front of my eyes. I rubbed my face, convinced I must be dreaming. But I wasn't. I could feel the heat, the sharp metallic scent. Suddenly, without warning, the elevator stopped with a jolt. The doors slid open, revealing a long, endless corridor bathed in a sickly red light. I don't know why, but I stepped out. Something was pulling me forward. Or maybe I had no choice. I walked. I don't know how long I walked. The hallway seemed to stretch forever, twisting and bending like a living thing, the walls shimmering with some kind of liquid. At times, I thought I saw shadows flitting at the edge of my vision, moving too quickly to catch, but whenever I turned, there was nothing there. My mind felt foggy. Every step echoed in my head, like a distorted sound looped back to me. I lost all sense of time. And then, I saw it. A door, at the end of the hallway. A door unlike the others, white, glowing, standing out in the oppressive red glow. It was my way out. I started walking toward it, but before I could reach it, a figure appeared. It was a man, but his face. It was melting, his features shifting and warping, his eyes empty as they stared at me. "You shouldn't be here," he whispered, his voice warping like it was coming from underwater. My feet were frozen to the ground. I tried to back away, but the walls started closing in, the red glow pulsing like a heartbeat. I don't know how I kept moving. The man's face dissolved into the shadows, and I found myself running. The walls warped and stretched, the hallway never ending, twisting into impossible shapes. The lights above flickered violently, casting shadows that seemed to dance and reach for me. And then, I heard it. A low, guttural noise, like something was breathing heavily, following close behind. My heart pounded in my chest as I ran faster, but no matter how hard I pushed, the door at the end of the hallway never seemed to get closer. The breathing grew louder, more insistent. I felt like something was right behind me, just waiting for me to slow down. Finally, I reached the door. My hands trembled as I grabbed the handle, throwing it open. Behind it was another elevator. This one was newer, gleaming like a polished silver box. It didn't belong in this place. I stumbled inside, desperate for an escape. The doors closed behind me with a soft hiss, and the breathing stopped. But I knew I wasn't safe. I pressed the button for the ground floor, hoping it would take me back to reality. The elevator moved, but this time, it wasn't slow. It shot upward, faster than any elevator I had ever been in. My stomach lurched as I watched the floors fly by, -1, 0, 1, 2. But it didn't stop. The numbers kept rising, 10, 20, 50. My ears popped, and the walls of the elevator started to blur. It was as if I was being stretched, my body and mind pulled in every direction at once. Just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, the elevator jolted to a stop. The doors opened with a soft chime. I stepped out, expecting to be home, back in my building, but I wasn't. The street was unfamiliar, everything felt off. The sky was too dark, the air too still. And there, sitting on the sidewalk, was a man, dirty, disheveled, a homeless man I'd seen near the building before. He looked up at me, his eyes wide with understanding, as if he knew what I had just been through. You've been there too, haven't you? He said, his voice trembling. I stared at him, speechless, my body frozen in place. The elevator. It took you too, didn't it? He whispered, a knowing look in his eyes. And that's when I realized, I hadn't escaped at all.